How to build a mind so strong it terrifies others. There is a kind of strength that doesn't roar, doesn't flex, doesn't need to prove itself, it simply exists. It's the strength that sits quietly in your soul when the world falls apart and still whispers, I will rise again. It's the power that confuses people, that unsettles them, that makes them wonder how you can still smile after everything you've survived. This is not physical strength. It is mental, emotional, and spiritual. It's the kind of strength that terrifies others because it cannot be controlled, manipulated, or broken. The truth is, the world doesn't fear your looks, your wealth, or your fame. It fears your mind. A mind that refuses to bow down to pain, that transforms rejection into redirection, and that remains calm even when everything burns around it. Such a mind cannot be defeated. It walks through storms with grace. It bleeds and still believes. It loses everything yet never loses itself. To build a mind like this, you don't need perfection, you need persistence. You need to embrace pain as a teacher, silence as a strategy, and solitude as a sanctuary. Because a mind built on peace, purpose, and power becomes unshakable. It becomes mysterious. It becomes unstoppable. And when you reach that point, you won't have to speak for people. To feel your presence, your energy will do it for you. Master your inner dialogue. The strongest battle you will ever fight is not with the world outside, but with the voice inside your head. It whispers doubts. It feeds fears. It replays mistakes. And it convinces you that you are not enough. But the moment you realize that you are not your thoughts, that you are the consciousness observing them, you start taking your power back. Because strength begins when you start talking to yourself differently. When you turn that cruel inner critic into your greatest coach, you must learn to control what your mind says when no one else is listening. Tell yourself you can, even when everything tells you that you can't. Remind yourself that every failure was preparation, every rejection was protection, and every fall was a step toward becoming unshakable. You can't build strength by agreeing with your doubts. You build it by defying them. When your thoughts become disciplined, your life follows. You no longer react to negativity with fear. You respond with wisdom. You no longer allow pain to define you. You allow it to strengthen you. And you no longer need people to validate your worth. You start validating yourself. The voice inside you becomes your anchor. It becomes the calm in chaos and the strength in your silence. It whispers to you in your weakest moments, reminding you that you have survived before and you will survive again. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You just need to be certain. Every time your mind says you can't, replace it with, watch me. Every time it says, you're not ready, answer, I was born for this. This is how warriors are built, not through comfort, but through conversations of courage within their own minds. When you master your inner dialogue, you don't need to escape your thoughts anymore. You sit with them, challenge them, and reshape them. Because once your inner world aligns with strength, no external force can destroy your peace. And that is when people begin to notice your calm. They sense your control. They see your light. And they feel intimidated not because you are louder than them, but because your silence has power they can't understand. Learn to be uncomfortable. The mind becomes strong when it stops craving comfort. Comfort feels safe, but it kills growth. Every great transformation begins when you choose discomfort over ease, discipline over distraction, and growth over excuses. Life will test you through pain, loss, and uncertainty, not to destroy you, but to awaken the power that comfort kept asleep. When you learn to embrace discomfort, you no longer fear it. You see pain as a teacher, not a punishment. You start finding strength in the places that once scared you. The moment you stop running from discomfort, you start mastering it. And that mastery becomes your superpower. Every time you are stretched beyond what you thought you could handle, your capacity expands. Every time you are forced to adapt, your resilience grows. The world's strongest minds were not built in luxury, they were built in moments of pressure, in sleepless nights, in silent battles no one saw. Discomfort shapes character. It humbles the proud, strengthens the weak, and reveals who you truly are beneath the surface. When you stop avoiding discomfort, you begin to see challenges as invitations to evolve. And suddenly, the impossible starts feeling possible. You start realizing that the very things that once made you cry are now the things that make you wise. The storms that once broke you are now the lessons that guide you. You stop fearing pain because you've learned that pain always leaves a gift behind, the gift of strength, clarity, and self-respect. A person who can find peace in discomfort becomes unstoppable. Because when you are comfortable being uncomfortable, life cannot scare you anymore. You stop reacting out of fear and start moving out of purpose. You walk through fire with calmness and come out glowing, and that glow, that unshakable calm, terrifies people. Because they cannot understand how you can face chaos with peace, how you can smile in struggle, and how you can walk through storms without breaking. That's what happens when discomfort becomes your training ground, detached from the need to be liked. The desire to be liked is one of the greatest prisons the mind can live in. The more you seek approval, the more power you give others to control your peace. True mental strength begins when you stop chasing validation and start valuing yourself. When you stop needing people to see your worth, you finally start to see it yourself. The world will always misunderstand you when you outgrow its expectations. They will call you arrogant for setting boundaries, selfish for prioritizing your peace, and cold for protecting your energy. But remember, people fear what they cannot influence, and they can't influence someone who doesn't need their approval. You build a terrifying kind of strength when you stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your peace, you stop defending your decisions, and you start walking in quiet confidence. That quiet confidence is intimidating because it comes from someone who doesn't need validation to feel valuable. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you walk away from chaos instead of trying to fix it, you strengthen your peace. Every time you stand firm in your truth, you rise higher in your own eyes. When you no longer need to be liked, you become real. And the world doesn't always like real, it likes comfort. But your authenticity will always be your greatest power. Because a person who's true to themselves doesn't chase people, they attract respect. Detachment is not coldness, it is maturity. It is the ability to love without losing yourself, to care without being consumed, and to give without expecting applause. When you reach that level of strength, people start fearing the calm that surrounds you. They fear it because they can't manipulate it, they can't control it, and they can't understand it. They fear your independence because it reminds them of everything they still depend on. And that's how your peace becomes your power. Control your reactions. The world loses power over you the moment you stop reacting to it. People will provoke you, situations will test you, and life will try to break you, but your response will always determine your strength. The most powerful minds are not loud, they are calm. Not reactive, they are intentional. You can't control what people do, but you can always control how you respond. When you stop allowing others to dictate your emotions, you take back your power. Silence becomes your strategy, patience becomes your armor, and grace becomes your revenge. Every time you react impulsively, you hand over your energy. But when you choose calmness, you keep your control. Calmness doesn't mean weakness, it means mastery. It means you've reached a point where peace is more important than proving a point. A calm mind terrifies people because it cannot be manipulated. When you don't react to negativity, it starves. When you don't respond to drama, it dies. People expect you to break, but your silence confuses them. They wonder how you can stay composed when everything is burning around you. The truth is, control doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means channeling them wisely. It means you can feel pain but still choose peace. You can feel anger but still choose grace. You can feel fear but still choose courage. That's real strength. The person who controls their mind is free. They no longer waste energy on what doesn't matter. They walk with quiet confidence, knowing that nothing outside them can disturb what's already balanced within. And that's what scares people, your ability to remain unmoved. Because a calm mind cannot be provoked, and an unprovoked soul cannot be defeated. Keep evolving no matter. What the most powerful minds are not the ones that have all the answers, they are the ones that never stop learning. Growth is their language. Transformation is their lifestyle, and evolution is their purpose. The day you stop growing is the day your strength begins to fade. Every experience, whether good or bad, comes to teach you something. Strong minds don't resist change, they adapt to it. They learn from it. They become wiser through it. You cannot become powerful by staying the same. You become powerful by becoming more of who you are meant to be. The people who fear you are the ones who can't predict your next move. Because you keep evolving. You keep surprising to them. You keep growing in silence while they're busy watching your past. That unpredictability is what makes your strength so terrifying. Evolution requires humility, the ability to admit you were wrong, to outgrow what no longer serves you, and to start again with grace. Every ending is not a loss. It's a redirection toward a better version of yourself. Keep walking that path. When you focus on growth, you stop competing with people and start competing with your old self. You stop needing validation because your purpose becomes personal. And as you evolve, you become lighter, freer, and stronger. Every version of you that rises from pain becomes more peaceful, more powerful, more silent. That silence, that calm evolution, that refusal to stay stagnant, it's what intimidates those who stay the same. Because you keep growing in directions they can't follow. A mind that never stops evolving becomes infinite. It cannot be boxed, controlled, or understood. And that's when people realize your strength was never about dominance. It was about evolution. In the end, a strong mind is not born from comfort. It is sculpted through storms, polished by pain, and strengthened by solitude. When you learn to silence your inner chaos, when you choose peace over reaction, and when you stand tall in your truth without needing approval, that's when you become unstoppable. People begin to fear not what you say, but what you can endure. They see that you cannot be shaken, and that kind of composure unsettles them. Because the world is used to seeing brokenness, but it trembles before someone who refuses to break. Building a mind so strong that it terrifies others isn't about arrogance or ego, it's about mastery. It's about walking through fire and still staying gentle. It's about facing betrayal and still believing in love. It's about being hurt deeply yet choosing not to turn bitter. Such a mind holds quiet confidence, unbothered energy, and unwavering focus. It doesn't seek to overpower others, it simply refuses to be overpowered by life. That's the kind of strength that earns respect without demanding it. So build a mind that no chaos can disturb, no criticism can weaken, and no failure can define. Let your calm become your weapon, your patience become your protection, and your growth become your rebellion. Because when your mind becomes stronger than your circumstances, when it becomes too peaceful to be provoked and too focused to be distracted, you don't just survive this world. You redefine what power truly means.